Rakata Yahweh, Rakata Yahweh Shai, Rakata Yahweh, Rakata Yahweh Shai, Rakata Yahweh, Rakata Yahweh Shai, Kahalayim La Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone who rule well, and salutations to the hopeful elect brothers out there pushing this truth with all diligence and sincerity. All right, just a real quick lesson, man. All right, we say it all the time, man. The Lord didn't call us out of the world to be the perfect, perfect lover according to this world. I could break it down any other way, but now, although we have to work subtly with subtlety, knowing one thing, not letting it be known. It says in Sirach, I'm gonna grab it, and this is like most important when it comes to maneuvering in this world. Sirach 32:8. Let thy speech be short, comprehending much in few words. Be as one that knoweth and yet holdeth his tongue. All right. So with that being said, we move around in this world a certain way. You gotta pretend to be the perfect friend to the end. But our cares and our affection are to the Lord and to the mercy of his saints, which is the elect. Which saints are Israelites, but I'm talking about who the Lord is dealing with, man. All right. I'm gonna start at verse. This is Ephesians 4:4, and it says, "There is one body and one spirit, even as ye are called, and one hope of your calling, one Lord, one faith, one baptism, one power, and Father of all, who is above all and through all and in you all." So that's what we're fighting for. Those who are actually a part of the body of Yahweh Shai. All right, those who the Lord is going to have mercy on, and who are going to take heed to the doctrine, who are going to call upon the name, who are going to rehearse what we rehearse. Yep. But it says, "But unto every one of us is given grace according to the measure of the gift of Mashiach." So yeah, the Lord called us to be a part of this body. Lord willing, brothers that are in this, remain faithful unto the end. We treat brothers how we would Yahweh Shai. Which is hey, brothers got families, and you're supposed to do for your family, which shows you how high and heavy this is, because this all it pretty much does come before your family. Now it's a reason why I say it like that, because the Spirit is saying it does come before your family, but it's it's a breakdown on how you handle business. But you gotta sacrifice for the elect's sake, because this is a part of us, even your particular direct family, not going through this no more. It's really just about loving the Lord, man, because that's who the body is. Our families, they can be somewhat of an extension of us if they follow the Spirit, but ultimately it's about doing this for the survival of the elect, which is heavy. And you have to, this is like we say it, and it's like when you say things in this world, they just seem like hot air, but it's really true. All right. It says, "But unto every one of us is given the grace according to the measure of the gift of Mashiach," which we have that spirit that to be a partaker in the things of the elect if we endure with it. Wherefore he says, when he ascended up on high, he led captivity captive and gave gifts unto men. Now that he ascended, what is it but that he also descended first into the lower parts of the earth? He that descended is the same also that ascended above for far above all heavens, that he might fill all things. And he gave some apostles, some prophets, and some evangelists, and some pastors and teachers. Because it is an order to this thing. So even the brother lower degree, you know, you have to understand that, hey, one bro went through it before you. So that's the reason why the Lord said you ought to listen to him. Nonetheless, sometimes, hey, the Lord can give us a reminder, you know, of things, whether it be on the left or the right, on how to deal with young men. For the perfecting of the saints, because that's the reason why we're all here. All right. Hopefully that younger brothers of the elect. Hopefully that older brothers of the elect. Thing is that if you be a part of Yahushua, we are the little ones. All right. We are the Lord's seed, you know, that was left behind that while Yahushua is nurturing with this word. It says, for the perfecting of the saints, for the work of the ministry, for the edifying of the body of Hamashiach, till we all come into the unity of the faith and of the knowledge of the Son of the Most High, unto a perfect man, unto the measure of the stature of the fullness of Hamashiach, that we henceforth be no more children tossed to and fro, carried about with every wind of doctrine, by the sleight of men and cunning craftiness, whereby they lie in wait to deceive. You know, because, hey, it says that the elect will not be deceived, man. All right. If it were possible, you know, these things that are coming to pass on this earth right now with Esau doing his wag, the dog. All right. You know, the woman always getting over these chimpanzees. But the thing is, all these things that, you know, we're in the flesh. So when I say that, it's certain needs and desires we do have. And the Lord said that even after all these things do the Gentiles seek, because we're going to have them in a more perfect way on how to rule these things instead of letting these things rule over us. So on this side, we're teaching young men via the elect how to not fall into that. As a matter of fact, since I said that, I'm going to come back to this, but this is Proverbs chapter 1. I started verse 1. It says, the Proverbs of Solomon, the son of David, king of Israel, who is Yahushua, to know wisdom and instruction, to perceive the words of understanding, to receive the instruction of wisdom, justice and judgment and equity, which true wisdom is to be able to receive wisdom, all right, and not be found a scorner, you know, to give subtlety to the simple, to the young man, knowledge and discretion, which, you know, we're all somewhat young in different, you know, ways in this world. You know, you got older brothers that are, you know, in the flesh that are used to certain ways in the world. They have a bit of knowledge, but then the word comes and it expounds on those things that they went through and had to overcome much more perfectly. And you also got young brothers in the flesh that have been in the word, you know, that still have to overcome via Yahushua. The thing is that Yahushua is raising us up, man, to be able to dismantle that which was created to destroy us, which is all these different desires, all right? Aside from that, even situations and arts that may come in the flesh, when problems arise, the Lord has given us every which way on how to deal with it, all right? So that's the reason why it says in verse 14 that we henceforth be no more children tossed to and fro and carried about with every wind of doctrine by the sleight of men and cunning craftiness, or by their lying way to deceive. All right, because ye have raised us up prophets in Babylon. You know, the Lord is raising up the elect, man. Lord willing, we all be a part of and partakers of that number, man. But speaking the truth in love may grow up into Him in all things, which is the head, even Hamashiach, from whom the whole body fitly joined together and compacted by that which is joint supplieth. Every joint supplieth, because, hey, if you ever exercise, you know, whether you got in that cardio or jog or you were lifting, it's just a simple fact of your joints being on point that, for one, can prevent injury, and two, it you know, it helps to elevate the other structure, you know, so that you lift properly, man. You know, it helps, it aids, man, it benefits, whatever, you know, word helps you understand that. That's the same as the body. The Lord said that even the lowest amongst the brethren, because hey man, it doesn't matter if you were barely this, barely that. The thing is that the spirit of the Lord is to keep on going until you grow. So you're gonna have brothers that's gonna come into the fold. They could have just came in, but the whole thing is they could still be a part of the elect of the 1/3 just simply by them being partakers and not hindering or stopping. But you keep going, you grow. You don't stop. You don't scorn. You acknowledge. You fail to get back up. All right, because that's what this whole walk that we're doing is really all about, so that we can understand judgment. And also when you fall, it helps you understand that the faults of men and that you are not worthy. Things that that part, I believe we are going to take it to the kingdom without though I speak as a man, without the condemnation of the flesh and being overpowered by these things. But we came here to learn judgment for a reason, and on this side right now it's to teach the elect judgment on how the Most High wants things. It says, according to the effectual working in the measure of every part, maketh increase of the body unto the edifying of itself in love. So we're here to edify the elect. And I hope this is an edifying lesson. It says, this I say unto you, and testify to the Lord, that ye henceforth walk not as others walk, as the other Gentiles walk, in which it really goes into Israelite foreigners. Niggas, basically. Don't walk like how you see average Jake walk no more, man. All right? I am trying to challenge myself. The average thing that a Jake would do, get happy, I get upset with, I'm going to try to do the opposite. But it's just all for growth. It's not for a personal congrats or anything like that, because we're all in this flesh. We all know that we've done things that we're ashamed of. Otherwise you wouldn't be in the truth. Things that you can barely speak about because they do give you shame, and you just pray that the Lord forgives you. Now if you a nigga and you think that you ain't never did anything, you keep on making, well, that happened because, but that the elect are not going to be saying that when they get delivered, man. They're going to be thanking Yahweh Shai as he says, well done, my good and faithful servant, because you did all that you could. You use this word as your shield to survive. All right. And it says, in the vanity of their mind, having the understanding dark and being alienated from the life of the Most High through the ignorance that is in them because of the blindness of their heart. And that's the thing. That's the reason why we're not here for the others. We're here for the elect, because what's the point in trying to talk to, it's not that we don't, we try to shed mercy even in that aspect. All right. Love your enemies. But at the same time, we have to understand we are not above the Most High. The Most High, if our words can't get through to a man, then it's going to really have to take the Most High. And that's how he planned to set things up. The Lord, he said through the foolishness of preaching, So if you can't get it through the foolishness of preaching, the Most High is not going to deal with you, man. He dealt with Paul according to one thing, man. But the average, I ain't Paul, you ain't Paul. The Most High ain't dealing with everybody like that. And that's a high-minded thing to even think of. It says having the understanding darkened, being alienated from the life of the Most High through the ignorance that is in them because of the blindness of their heart, which, ultimately that also goes into these false teachers, man, that claim to be Israelites, but are not Israelites in the spirit, just of the seed, who being past filling have given themselves over unto lasciviousness to work all uncleanness with greediness. And, I can name drop, but that's not important, man, because this is about the edifying of the body. It's been known by now who to steer clear of. If they're not coming out in the name of Yahweh Shai, living this directly and correctly, all right, with certain doctrines that offend you, but not for some propaganda thing, then I don't know what to tell you. It's going to be one simple thing with a body of elders that taught this. It's going to be like that. And I have not found that, but except with the men of Great Millstone. But this is 2 Timothy chapter 2. I'm sorry, verse 6. It says, the husbandman that laboreth must be partaker of the fruits, in which we are husbandmen as well, man. Yeah, I wish I'd be in the first. Consider what I say, and the Lord give thee understanding in all things. Remember that Yahushua HaMashiach of the seed of David was raised from the dead according to my gospel, wherein I suffer trouble as an evildoer, even unto bonds, but the word of the Most High is not bound. Yeah, they want to bound this flesh, but hey, they want to, he wants to bring us down, these Negroes and Spigros, the so-called black woman especially. They don't want this to have power. But hey, it's the words of Yahweh Shemiah Shai. Yeah, you might not like the speaker, but the Lord put that spirit on the speaker to even talk that way, to walk that way, to offend you, just so he can snare you. All right? Because it says, hey, man, if you should offend one of these little ones, it'd be better if a millstone. Because, hey, the Lord wants to offend people, man. But you people are touching the elect. Touch not mine anointed, and do my prophets no harm. All right? But that's the thing. Precious in the sight of the Lord is the death of his saints. So the Lord is testing you people. And hey, if you ain't got the spirit, you're going to fall in that trap. So it's good. The only thing we can do is praise Yahweh Shemiah Shai for the things that he has spoken, man. And what he is doing. All right. It says, remember that Yahweh HaMashiach. It's like I read that. Therefore, I endure all things for the elect's sakes. So Paul was really saying that fuck my life, fuck my body, excuse my language, but not that he was so ready to perish. It speaks about him being ready to perish, but not in such a depressive, him cutting himself, him doing some demonic activity. All right? He was literally, hey, the fact that he was here, living with, past mistakes, it was that he was comforted still being around the body of Yahweh Shai. But nonetheless, he was ready to be around Yahweh Shai. But he understood what the assignment was. You're not going to have a perfect life living in Yahweh Shai. As Yahweh Shai himself, being a husbandman and a partaker, did not live. You were going to live the same life as Yahweh Shai. It's as simple as that. But with that, we have to carry the burden of the word, in which it becomes a burden because we have to deal with it in this world and according to our flesh. All right? The world cannot hate you, but me it hateth because I testify that the works thereof are evil. The word cuts everything, man. All right? Like Paul said, I had not known sin except for by the word. Knowing it, it slew me. All right? I mean, he was cut, dead. Like we say cut, because it tells you that you're wrong. But when we get told that we were doing wrong, literally, that would be in a righteous society, that would mean you're getting put to death. You're not perfect. That's why we need Yahweh Shai to even enter into the kingdom, man. And that's what these people don't understand. It's not about our works. That doesn't mean we go out and willfully sin, but we need Yahweh Shai, and the elect are going to understand that. Therefore, I endure all things for the elect's sakes, that they might also obtain the salvation which is in Hamashiach Yahweh Shai, with eternal glory. It is a faithful saying, for if we be dead with him, we shall also live with him. All right? So it's all about doing this for the elect's sake, man. That's what this journey is about. As we grow, we're growing into the elect. He that watereth himself, man. But with that, I'm going to end this lesson off. I'm going to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh. Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Kakarash, Salawam, and Baba.